Before we get started, we are recording this call. It will be available after as well. And so we will post this onto our website so you all can get access to that afterwards, or anyone who didn't see the call today can have access to that. All right, so a couple things I want to navigate around this morning is there is a chat option at the bottom of your screen. And so if you could click on that chat option, and I want to get you guys to start to engage, because with these virtual events, we know the engagement, the networking can be a little more difficult. So let's all have you just drop in there, drop in where you're calling us from today, and maybe your target job or your target industry. You know, what kind of position are you looking for? And then I'm also going to ask you later to drop in your LinkedIn URL. So get ready for that. But go ahead and tell us where you're calling in from. We have California, Arizona. Just let us know where you're calling in from and the kind of job that you are looking for. All right, so that's on there. We're also going to be going into breakouts at the end of the call today, so we will walk you through that. As far as the display goes, it's the best view typically during the speaker is the speaker view. And so up in the right-hand corner for most of us, you can click on view, and there's different options, and there is a speaker view. And so that's a really the best way kind of to get to see the content in the best way possible. All right, so let's see, I want to mention we are doing closed captioning today. So if you would like that, you have access to that right there. Click on the icon in your Zoom, and it's kind of a new process for us. Zoom is enabled the transcription now, so that is available to you. So just go ahead and click on that if you would like to get the closed captioning. Now, as you are engaging today, I encourage you, thank you guys for dropping in where you're calling from. Scottsdale, Jerry is a program manager. Thank you, Joey. Donna calling from Vancouver, welcome, and looking for something in healthcare. But make sure that you're connecting with people today. So not only chatting on the main chat, but you feel free to reach out to people individually and connect with them. Connect with people on LinkedIn. What I would love for you all to do as part of the networking and connection today is to jump out to LinkedIn, grab your LinkedIn URL and drop that in the chat. And what that does is, if you copy the browser, you know, up in your browser window, your LinkedIn profile URL, and then you copy and paste that right into the chat, that will make it blue, which means it's clickable. And so when someone clicks on it, they can connect directly to you. Thank you, Catherine, for an excellent example. So everyone, click on Catherine, click on Mickey's LinkedIn URLs, and you'll go right to their profile, and you'll be able to connect with them directly, do a connection request. That is another way that we can continue to keep engaged in our call today. All right, our event is Master Your Mindset to Land Your Next Job with Vered Kogan. Excuse me. And then we have different hiring companies today. And so you're going to hear from Venture, PayPal, Avanade, and the Entrepreneur Source. And then I will come back in to do some resources and closing, and then just give you guys some content, some information. And then we're going to move over to our breakout sessions. And what that means is you can go to talk directly to any of the speakers that we've had on the call today. You also will be able to talk to some of our volunteers, some of our professional career coaches and resume writers and LinkedIn coaches, just a ton of really, really cool resources and job search resources available for you at the end of the call today. All right, I think I got through all the other stuff, and I like to get us moving pretty quickly because this keynote speaker is amazing. Oh, one other thing I want to mention to you guys, as a way of engaging, if you could also drop in any ideas on, what are you hoping to accomplish today? What are some of the things that you would like to see, or some help that you have, or maybe what our keynote is going to talk about, the mindset, or maybe some of this hiring companies. So if you want to drop that in the chat as well, that'll continue to keep our chat going. We also, for anyone who was registered ahead of time, sent out an email, I believe it was yesterday, that had the handout that Vered is going to reference today. And so you can pull that email up. It's you can check your email right now if you like, but you can pull that up, and she's going to reference that handout in her talk today. All right. Okay. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm excited to introduce you all to Vered Kogan. And before I do her official introduction, let me just tell you guys a little story. And so you all know this thing called the pandemic of 2020 that we all were affected by in some crazy way. So March of 2020, I think it was like March 16th. It might have been March 13th. But March of 2020, we were at an event. We were hosting a Career Connectors event in Scottsdale. And less than half of the people showed up that normally show up for our events. And I looked over at Sheila and I said, we're done. We've got to shut it down. And Sheila was like, okay, but we're not shutting it down. She's like, we're figuring this out. And if any of you know Sheila, she is like our back end kind of, she does everything to run these events. And our next speaker on deck was Vered, and she was speaking at our Gilbert event coming up. And so, which was a face-to-face event in 2 weeks. So Sheila reached out to Vered and said, here's our issue. We can't meet, we can't meet, all our venues are shutting down, and the world is crazy. And but we can't leave people. We can't not do this work. We can't, especially in this crazy time, no one knows what's going on. We've got to be a place. We've got to be a place of hope for people in our community. And Vered said, no problem. You figure out the technology, I'll figure out how to present. And so she turned like that. And I bet you we were probably the first networking group, career support program that got up and running. We did not miss one event, and Vered is the one that stepped up and did this. And so Vered, I am so grateful that you did that for us, and that you did that for all the people that attend these events. And not only that, it was so crazy. Vered is the most calm person you've ever met. And so for her to be coming to talk about mindset in the middle of a humongous disaster and literal pandemic, it was ironic and cool and good. And it really helped people just kind of like, okay, we can take a deep breath and get their mind right. So thank you, Vered. So that's my story for her. She is phenomenal. I think you guys you're in for a real treat today. Transitions can be uncomfortable and stressful experience. However, they can also be a time of growth and possibility. I'm so excited to have Vered Kogan with us today to present the mindset game, a revolutionary concept that can help you master your mindset and emotional state during times of change. She will share how your choice of mindset can directly impact your resilience and health during this uncertain time. And you can expect to walk away with simple tools to help you feel more ease and get even better results. She's an executive high-performance coach, trainer of neuro-linguistic programming, certified heart math trainer, board certified hypnotherapist, and holds several other credentials. Over the past 18 years, she has helped hundreds of people adapt more effectively to change in her coaching practice, as well as at PricewaterhouseCoopers and at the world's largest outplacement firm, Lee Hecht Harrison. Vered is CEO and founder of the Momentum Institute, a leadership training and coaching company. Her message will connect with you on a personal and professional level so that you can master playing the mindset game. Welcome, Vered. Yay!
Thank you so much, Jessica, for that very warm and heartfelt introduction. And on a personal note, it's very meaningful for me to be here because I'll share a little bit about my story, but I clearly remember being in that place of being in career transition, and I will do my very best for all of you today. So first of all, I want to check in. Can everybody hear me clearly? We're good?
We're good.
Excellent. So as Jessica said, our topic today is the mindset game, which is how to master your mindset to land your next job, but not just to land your next job, is to do it with ease, to do it with joy, and to do it as quickly as possible. So I want to start out with a quote, and it's a quote from the book, The Alchemist. Some of you may have read that book by Paulo Coelho. And the quote goes like this: When you want something, when you really want something, all the universe conspires to help you achieve it. When you want something, all the universe conspires to help you achieve it. I believe this is absolutely true from my work. I also know that it's true from research. And what I mean by that is that your heart is connected to something beyond time and space. You're going to learn a little bit of the science of that today. And when you learn how to collaborate with your mind, how to kind of manage your emotional state and collaborate with your mind, you're going to have access to your heart's intuitive guidance that will guide you onto the next right step and the next right step along your path, along the maze of your life, so that you can land your next job or achieve whatever it is that your heart desires personally or professionally with even more ease. And so what we're talking about today is really any change in your life. It's about how to adapt better to any change. And so one of the things that we all know now, and Jessica touched on it with this crazy pandemic, is that we can't avoid change. Whether it's career change or some other kind of change, change is inevitable in our world. You know, we live in a world of dichotomy, a world of polarity. And what that means is that there's always going to be some mixed energies. So we can't avoid change. Well, except when we're, using a vending machine. In that case, we may not see our change, but in all other cases, we really can't avoid change. So the big question is, are you ready? Are you prepared for the changes in your life? And when they show up, are you resilient to adapt? And you adapt by lessening the inner resistance to change, which is what we're going to be talking about today, because most people during change experience a great deal of stress. Because what does change presuppose? It presupposes some uncertainty. Yes, there's something new or different that we haven't faced before. And when the body is in a state of uncertainty, there is fear. And with fear, there is stress. And some of you might be experiencing some of that right now. Go ahead and kind of write in the chat box if some of this is resonating with you so far, that, stress brings on a certain level of stress in your life. Or maybe some of you are feeling really stuck right now. Like you don't even know what it is that you want or what's the next right step, or there's some mental or emotional block that might be getting in your way. And so what you're going to learn today is going to help you to create this collaboration, if you will, between what you want at a conscious level and what you believe about that at a deeper level. So your heart and your mind are working together. They're working in sync, because when that happens, you're not going to be able to feel as much of the stress. You're going to be able to self-regulate your emotions and manage that stress. You're going to be able to have access to your heart's guidance as to the best solutions to those blocks that you may be experiencing in your life. And it will be easier to adapt to any change in your life. And everything I'm sharing with you today, although the concepts may seem very, very simple, right? You can teach them to a 5-year-old. That's how simple they are. Yet they are deeply rooted in research. I'm a trainer with the Institute of Heart Math, and that is a research institution that studies the communication between your heart, and I mean the physical organ of your heart, I'm not speaking metaphorically, your actual heart, and your head brain. And what we know is that the communication between your heart and your head brain really matters during a transition. And that when you practice tools like the quick coherence technique, which I'm about to teach you, you will be more coherent during this transition and any transition in your life. And what that means is that you're going to be able to access the state of optimal performance, which is also the state of optimal health, where your immune system is working at its best, where you're able to really allow all of your body's functions to work together harmoniously as they're meant to do. So let's go ahead and dive right into the technique. Again, it's a very simple technique, but deeply researched, because there are over 450 published, peer-reviewed, independent research studies around the state of coherence and how it can help you to adapt with more ease through the maze of your life, through all of the challenges and problems and issues that you may be facing in your life. Now, before we begin the technique, I want to ask you, how are you feeling right now? I want you to go ahead and write in the chat. Just label it. Give it one word, maybe two. What is your state right now, the inner state? How are you feeling right now? You see, it's very important to label our emotions. When we label our emotions, first of all, it kind of takes the charge off of any distressing emotions. But in addition to that, it allows us to collaborate with our unconscious mind, to really hear our unconscious mind. I see words like calm, edgy, stuck, nervous about the future. Yeah, right. Notice kind of a blend of energy. And it's very normal to experience all kinds of emotions. I see overwhelmed, disillusioned, scattered. Right? So you can see how during a transition, some of those distressing or perplexing emotions might be even more elevated because there is uncertainty. The body doesn't feel safe. I see confused. That's another one that's very common during a transition because we don't yet have those programs in our brain about what to do, right? It's something new or different. So I really honor you for taking a moment to label how you are feeling. And when you do that multiple times a day, you're going to do a lot of service, a lot of good for your body. Because like I said, anytime you label your emotion, you're saying to your body, I hear you, I see you, I accept that this is what I'm feeling right now. And in the acceptance, we begin to allow our body to adapt to what is going on and to be able to access those thoughts and emotions that will allow us to do that. So the technique that you're about to learn will help you to feel better mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. And it has two steps. I'm going to quickly describe them and then we'll do them together. The first step is what we call heart-focused breathing. And all you're going to do is you're going to focus your attention in your heart and you're going to do some pretending. You're going to imagine as if your breath is flowing in and out of your heart or chest area, kind of allowing a nice smooth rhythm. And then I'm going to guide you to activate a positive feeling. Any positive feeling will do, whether it's a feeling of ease or calm, whether it's a feeling of excitement, confidence, whatever feeling that might be, perhaps compassion for someone or something in your life, or even for yourself. And in doing so, you're going to allow your body to get into a nice synchronized state, and you're going to get a nice blend of hormones, of chemicals into your body that will actually make you feel better, make you more coherent. And we're going to learn a little bit more about what that means later in the presentation. So let's go ahead and begin. I invite you to go ahead and focus all of your attention now in the area of your heart. If you'd like, you can actually place your physical hand over your heart or chest area and just imagine as if your breath was flowing in and out of your heart or chest area. And as you do that, breathe a little slower and a little deeper than you normally do. You can do this with your eyes opened or closed, whatever feels comfortable for you. And keep doing that as I talk. What you're doing now is you're synchronizing your autonomic nervous system, that part of your body that runs all your body, all those things that you do without your conscious awareness. Yeah. Find a nice, easy rhythm that's comfortable. Now, as you continue to focus in your heart, make a sincere attempt to experience a regenerative, positive feeling, such as appreciation or care for someone or something in your life. So perhaps you can try to re-experience the feeling of love that you have for someone, maybe even a pet. Maybe focusing on an accomplishment in your life, maybe a happy memory, and maybe even a place in nature, or just breathing in a feeling of calm and ease in and out of your heart. And just begin to notice any subtle shifts, maybe in your body, maybe how you're feeling right now, maybe a perception or an attitude about something. And set an intention to anchor any positive shifts that you've experienced as you go about your day, as you go about the meetings and your conversations in the breakout room, and of course during this presentation, so that you can retain what I'm sharing with you and really apply it in your life. Because when you do, when you apply the very simple tools that you will be learning today, like the quick coherence technique, you will absolutely notice shifts in your life. And the first one will be a shift in how you feel, which will dictate everything else. So some of you might be wondering, let me get my clicker here. There we go. Some of you might be wondering, why are we starting a presentation on mindset, on the power of thought with emotions? Why not dive right into what are the best thoughts that I should think during a transition? And there's a very good reason for that. I know you know that how you feel dictates how you think, and how you think dictates how you feel. Yes, because your state really matters. Right? You think completely different thoughts when you're in an empowered, confident state than you do when you are in an overwhelmed or confused state, or perhaps even a depressed state. Now, as we said, change can be really scary. Some of you use words like confusing, right? Being disillusioned, nervous, scared. And I remember very clearly feeling all of the above. Back in 2001, I was working at a job that I loved. And although I'd heard some rumors about a merger that was happening, didn't really think it would affect me until I got the call. I got a call from my boss, which went something like this. Hi, Vered. I'm so sorry to let you know that we have to let you go. Some of you may have heard words like that, similar to that, or perhaps it was your own choice to leave, or maybe you're just starting your career and you're experiencing some confusion and fear. But I immediately went into a place of despair, even though I kind of knew it was coming, right? So it wasn't like a complete shock, but for my body, it was a complete shock. I immediately thought, oh my goodness, what am I going to say to my husband? What am I going to say to my parents? There was an incredible amount of shame, even though I knew I really didn't do anything wrong per se. It was not performance related, but yet I dipped into that dark, dark place. And I stayed there for a while because I didn't know the tools that you are learning today. So some of you might really be resonating with this whole concept of the power of our emotions, and of course then the power of our thoughts. And what you're seeing here is a typical change curve. This is how people typically experience change. So what you're seeing is a graph of productivity over time. So in a situation like I experienced, right, there's some denial and shock and confusion, right? Is this really happening? It takes some time for the body to really absorb it. And then what do many of us do? We, in a state of stress, we kind of go outward, right? We focus externally, right? We start blaming everyone, right? It's his fault, her fault, their fault, the economy, the pandemic, right? Whatever it might be. And we get defensive, yeah? And of course, that never works, right? It never works. So what happens? Our productivity and our morale continue to dip. And it dips, and it dips, and it dips. Way, way, way low into when I worked at PricewaterhouseCoopers as a change management consultant. We called it the Valley of Despair. Some of you might be visiting the valley right now, but there is hope. There is hope. And so what happens is when the body experiences a certain amount of pain, then the body says no more. And we begin to be open to learning new ways of doing things, asking ourselves different questions. And you're going to get some of those tools today. And we find ourselves in a presentation like this, where we're open to learning about mindset, to exploring some other ways. And it is in doing so that we begin to accept the loss, because any change, even when it's a change that we welcome, a career change or any other change that we wanted, that we asked for, even in those cases, the body is still adapting to change. There is something different, right, from the old way and the new way. So it requires us to let go, and to let go of our old world before we can really plug into a new world. And when we do that, then we begin to allow ourselves to adapt to the change. And the more and more and more that we adapt, the more it becomes familiar, right? The unfamiliar becomes familiar. And with repetition, when we repeat certain thoughts and when we really imagine what it is that we want, we get clear about it, our body begins to feel more ease. And then eventually we begin to really accept the change and even get excited about the change. And some of you might be there right now. Maybe you're in a place of excitement. There are a whole blend of emotions that we experience during change. And so change can be very uncomfortable. It can be scary because it's new and different. So let's have you kind of experience that right now. I invite you, whether you're using the handout, there's kind of a spot for doing this in the handout, or even just a blank piece of paper that you have in front of you. I want you to go ahead and just sign your name in the usual way that you do. Just sign your name as if you're like a famous movie star, signing your name. Cool. Now move your pen or pencil to your other hand and go ahead and sign your name again, and really tune in to how that feels, maybe how it looks. Good. Now share with me. I'd love to hear, read in the chat. What did you just experience? What was that like for you? Some of you might be thinking, oh my God, that was completely uncomfortable, right? It was confusing. I didn't know how to do it. Oh my God, it looks like a 2-year-old signed my name, right? It's a complete mess. And the reason I invited you to do that is to really tune in to the emotions that we feel when we do anything that's new or different. And the reason that it feels that way is because your amazing brain, yes, I see awkward, yes. That's right, uncomfortable every time. Thank you guys for sharing. Yeah, and the reason for that is that your brilliant, beautiful brain does not like change. What does it like? It likes habits. It likes to run on these automatic programs, mostly unconscious programs, so that it doesn't have to spend energy or glucose to do something that's new or different, to create a new program. Yeah, so that's why it can be very awkward, which is why our brain prefers to run on these automatic programs, so that we can preserve energy for our higher brain, our conscious mind, to make decisions sometimes when we need it to in the moment, right? So we can focus on what we want. So when we go through a change, many of us experience a lot of distress. Yes. And when I worked at Lee Hecht Harrison, as Jessica mentioned, which is an outplacement firm, I coached hundreds of people that were in job transition. And I noticed that some of them landed pretty quickly, relatively speaking, in the market in those days. They landed quickly, and some of them did not. Some of them really struggled. And they had a really hard time. So you might be wondering, well, what's the difference between the two groups? Why do some people tend to adapt really quickly and easily, even if they may not have the perfect resume or the perfect LinkedIn profile? What is it about them? And some people tend to really struggle. And so you may think that the real difference is that they have the right strategy. Yes, those people that land quickly, they know the right strategies and they take action. Yes, they do all the stuff they need to do, and that equals success. But what I learned from working with all those people is that it's not just strategy, first of all, because everybody had access to the same resources. In fact, you have access to pretty much everything that you want to know about a job transition at your fingertips, yes? Whether it's going to the Career Connectors blog or watching these kind of webinars, or accessing how to do anything from networking to, writing the perfect cover letter or whatever it is that you want to do. So it's not just strategy. And it's also not just execution, because I saw many, many, many people, perhaps like you, that would spend hours a day doing all the right stuff. Yeah, they would apply to all the jobs, they would customize their stuff, they were very targeted, they would, really practice for their interviews. Maybe they got coaching and mentoring through Career Connectors or something else, but yet they still struggled. So it makes you wonder, what is the real key? What is the real key to landing your next job? Because when you're at a place where you're doing everything you can and you're just not getting the results, right? Or especially when you don't hear back from people, right? How many of you might be experiencing that? I hear that a lot from people in career transition. Like, I just don't hear back, right? I was told, that there's going to be a next step, and there's, I keep following up, and, it just kind of makes you want to put your head in the sand and just kind of go away, right? Like, it's just, it can be a very difficult place to be. And then we start telling ourselves all kinds of ridiculous stories, right? Stories that make us feel a certain way, right? They kind of make us feel sometimes like this, yeah? Like we're not good enough. Like we're not good enough to get the jobs. And, that's not true at all. What we know is that those are just false stories. They're not true at all. So what is the real key to landing your next job with ease, and as quickly as possible? Well, I was very curious about this myself. So this is when I began to study. As Jessica said, I studied a bunch of things. And what I learned from all those trainings and all of my conversations with clients is that the real difference between those who land quickly and those who don't is their mindset. It is their mindset. And in a few moments, you're going to learn what a mindset actually is, where your mindsets come from, how they impact your results, and how you can play what I call the mindset game to get even better results. So what we know is that when you shift your mindset, you will get completely different results. And I've seen this over and over and over again in my career. So let's dive right in. A mindset is a belief. A mindset is a belief. A belief is a feeling of absolute certainty about something, where you believe something to be so true. You might not even know why you believe it to be true, but you've told yourself a story enough times over and over and over again in your mind, often unconsciously, that you have trained yourself to believe. You've conditioned yourself to believe that that thought is actually true, when in reality it might be completely false or even absurd. So let me share a quick example. So one of my clients had a business, and she wanted to grow the business. And one of the things that she knew she needed to do is to network more. Yes, I know you all know how important networking is in career transition. And yet there was something, like there was some resistance where she just didn't feel comfortable networking events. She didn't want to go. She would continue to kind of self-sabotage, and there would always be an excuse, or when she would go, she wouldn't feel comfortable. And when she really got down to it, to what is the story that she's telling herself, the mindset, the habitual thought went like this: I'm not interesting enough. A part of her believed that she is not interesting enough, that she's kind of boring, and that when she goes to these events, people are not going to want to talk to her. Yeah? So her brain associated pain with networking events, because she thought, people are going to see me in a certain way. And so, of course, her mind, wanting to protect her, to keep her safe, would limit her ability to access thoughts that would, keep her motivated to go to these events. So you can see that we have all kinds of thoughts, and many of those thoughts are not even true. So just ask yourself, what am I holding myself from right now in the lens of this job transition? And what is the story that I'm telling myself? Maybe you also have a story of not being good enough in some way, right? And of course, there are many different versions of that. Not, feel free to reject this, of course, if it doesn't land, right? Not credentialed enough, not experienced enough, not young enough, not old enough, right? Not whatever enough. Yeah, it's very, very, very common. And the reason we have these thoughts is because our mind is wired for negativity. Did you know that you have 5 networks in your brain that deal with threat and danger? Yeah, all the stuff that our body just wants to move away from, relative to 1 network for positivity and reward. And that's how we humans have survived as long as we have in our world. Yes, by looking out for danger, by judging ourselves and others. So we tend to tell ourselves these, negative story. We have these automatic negative thoughts, what we would nickname ants, right? Automatic negative thoughts. So this is where the mindset game comes into play, because when you are even more clear about what you want, and you are focused on more empowered thoughts, on kinder thoughts for yourselves and others, then you're going to be able to access the path of least resistance. So what do I mean by that? So imagine as if, right, metaphorically speaking, right, we were all dumped into this big maze when we were born, right? This like life-size maze that has all the typical maze-like things, right? Twists and turns and dead ends. And we can't see more than just a few feet ahead of us. We don't know when our next job is going to land, or what company or what industry. We don't know yet, right? We're not holding it in our hands, so to speak. Right? So we're in this maze, and it can feel very scary, right? All those words that we saw at the beginning, right? And confusing. We don't know, do I go right? Do I go left? What do I do? But when you play the mindset game, and I'm going to guide you on some simple principles for doing that, you will be able to feel your way into the next right step and the next right step. So it's kind of similar to this game that some of you may have played when you were little, called the hot and cold game. This may sound familiar, right? Is that fun game that we played where there would be like a hidden treasure, right? So just like a hidden treasure in the maze, and we don't know where it is, right? But our friends would give us all kinds of clues on where to find it, right? So, you'd know that you're like walking towards what you want when you get instructions like, hey, you're getting warm, getting warmer, you're boiling hot, right? And then you know that you're getting really close to that thing that you're looking for, right? That you can't see. Or on the other hand, when you get instructions like you're getting cold, colder, freezing cold, right? Then you know you're moving away from what you want, right? And what do you do when you get those instructions? You're like, well, you're not going to keep moving away from what you want. You're going to be like, okay, right? I'm getting colder, right? You're going to notice that guidance. You're going to listen to that guidance. And what are you going to do? You're going to turn around in the other way, right? You're going to change your direction, the direction of your thoughts, the direction of your emotions or your behavior. And you're going to move warmer and warmer and warmer towards what you want. So that's the essence of this game, this mindset game. At any moment, right, in the maze, you're either moving towards what you want or away from what you want. And you know the difference by tuning into how you feel. So you absolutely do create your future through your habitual thoughts, emotions, and actions. And how does that work? So when I tell myself something enough times, like my client that told herself, I'm not interesting, maybe something happened at some point. Most of our beliefs, are really anchored when we're between the ages of 0 to 6 or 7. Very, very young age. And so at some point she made some lousy decision, right? And her brain didn't want her to do anything new or different. Remember how awkward it was to sign your name with the other hand? Yeah, so her brain didn't want to create a new program, so it stuck with it. And she put on a pair of glasses that went like this, right? I am not interesting. And her brain would just give her all kinds of evidence to validate that lousy belief, right? So all she could access was thoughts that were aligned with the lousy belief. And then when she had those thoughts, right, she would get all kinds of emotions. Yes, her limbic system would release all kinds of chemicals that would make her feel the way that she was thinking. So if she's thinking, I'm not interesting, right? And she's got this opportunity to go to a networking event, her body's going to feel what, right? Uncomfortable. It's going to feel like, like it doesn't want to do it, right? It wants to run away from that. And then of course, that's what she's going to do, right? She's going to self-sabotage or procrastinate. How many of you procrastinate during your job search? Yeah. So we do create a reality because our actions dictate our results, right? No brainer. When you take aligned actions, consistent, massive actions, yes, you're going to get better results than when you don't, of course. Now, some of you might be thinking, Very, this is way too simple. Come on. Like our thoughts create our reality. Come on. Really? Yes, really. And we know this from research. In fact, Not just do your thoughts impact how you feel in your own body, right? Because all those emotions, all those chemicals in your body make you feel a certain way, right? Like tense or, or relaxed, for example. But those thoughts and feelings also get radiated outside of your body. Yes, this is real. Did you know that there is this like field of energy around your body, what we call an electromagnetic field that's kind of made up of all your thoughts and emotions? They are real things, and we can measure how you feel with spectral analysis up to about 10 feet in diameter around your heart, around your body. Yeah. So how you think and feel gets radiated out. That's why, when you're in an interview and you might feel nervous or something like that, it's really important to self-regulate your emotions, to use tools like the quick coherence technique that you learned. By the way, it's also in your handout, when you want to do it again, right? Why? Because that's going to allow you to project a different energy out into the field that other people, like your interviewers, will be able to tune into, so they will feel more ease. Yeah, and they will just trust you more. And they'll feel more comfortable with you, and they'll want to hire you. So this is not new news. All the greats in history knew that your thoughts create your reality. That's the one thing they agreed on, right? Gandhi has a very awesome quote, right? A man is but a product of his thoughts, right? Think about it. Your habitual thoughts are your beliefs, right? What he thinks, he becomes. It's your mind's job to create coherence between what you expect to see in the world, through that lens, yes, that you put on, and what you actually experience. Napoleon Hill, whatever your mind can conceive, yes, what you can imagine for yourself, when you believe it, you can achieve it. Why? Because there's this integration. Because what you want at a head level and what you believe at a deeper heart level, yes, your conscious and unconscious mind are working together to help you to create your best results. So how do you win the game? Well, think about the hot and cold game, right? You find what you're looking for, but it's more than that. It's finding what you're looking for with ease, with less stress, right? We all know we can eventually get a job, right? But the point is, how are we feeling in the process of it? How quickly is it, right? How are we feeling in our body? So the objective is to consciously create your future, because we're playing the game all the time. I mean, you're thinking lots of thoughts, around 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day. That's what the average person thinks, right? So clearly you got thoughts all day long. You got emotions all day long. Yes, you are creating your reality all day long, but some of you might not be doing it consciously. So let's teach you how to do it more consciously, right? How to give more positive instructions to your mind so that you can move warmer and warmer and warmer, right? And so that you can notice when you're getting colder, yes, when you're moving away from what it is that you want, so that you could change direction and move towards your goals with more ease. So it's very simple. When you think negative thoughts, for example, right? Negative thoughts like I'm not good enough, or maybe I'm not worthy, or, this is, going to be tough to find this job. It's going to take a long time, or I don't know what to do, or, all that kind of stuff. All of those thoughts are sending a certain instruction to your limbic system, to the chemical brain, to send certain chemicals into your body. And when you're feeling those distressing emotions, those negative emotions, you're not coherent. There's an incoherent signal going from your heart up to the thalamus in your brain, which controls all your awesome executive functions. So guess what? You're not thinking clearly in those moments. You're not making the best decisions, and you certainly don't have access to your heart's intuitive guidance. So for example, and some of you might be resonating with these on some level. If you feel any pain around these, it means that there's something there, right? Like I'm not good enough. That's a universal belief, right? Or maybe it's hard, or what if I succeed, or what if I fail? Right, I'll give you an example, a quick example from yesterday. I had a client that, her mindset was that she's not worthy of being seen or heard. So that was holding her back in her business because, she's kind of keeping herself small. It's also impacting her weight, because anytime she loses a certain amount of weight, right, her body's like, she starts to get feedback. Oh, you're looking good. You're losing some weight. Her body's like, nope, right? And then it goes right back to the old weight. Why? Because her body doesn't feel that it's safe, because she told herself at some point, I'm seen and unheard. And one of the core experiences for her was when she was very little and she wanted to go with her mom somewhere. And her mom says, you can come with me, but you can't talk. Yeah? So I can't be seen, I can't be heard. And so her mind is giving her instructions to maintain that, and it's holding her back. So when you tell yourself a lousy story like that, you give your mind an instruction to move you away from what you want. So a good example of this, another example of this, is a client of mine that had a belief that he's not good in math. Some of you may have that belief. Of course, it's just a lousy belief. You know, when he was in the 3rd grade, Mrs. Gilmore, his math teacher, used to ridicule him. So he made a decision, right? Not knowing any better, I'm not good in math. And then that limited his ability to access thoughts or ideas that were, you know, requiring him to know math. And that held him back in his career because he didn't even explore options that required him to do that. But once he released that belief, as you're about to learn how to do, and he started telling himself different stories, he was able to access new ideas, like the fact that he wanted to be a physical therapist. And he wrote me an email, a text about a year after that, and he said, you know what, Vered, I aced all my math classes. Right? And he's now a physical therapist. So you can see it's just a bunch of BS. It's just a belief system. So notice your thoughts, because when you tell yourself something enough times, it does get anchored in your brain, but your brain is malleable. No matter how long you've told yourself a certain story, right? Your brain is plastic. We call it neuroplasticity. It can change and grow as you change the thoughts that you tell yourself. You can recondition your mind, right? You can tell yourself, absolutely, I can do whatever it is that I want to do. And when you do it with emotion, in a coherent state, your body will listen and you will reprogram those old programs, right? And all of a sudden you'll believe, yes, I can do this. Absolutely, I'm good enough, right? It is possible for me, right? Every day in every way, I'm getting better and better and better. So when you tell yourself those empowering stories, you get really positive hormones like DHEA, which is a vitality hormone, into your body. Yes, that allows you to access the right decisions, right? Should I call this person back, or should I apply for this job or not? You're going to be able to make those decisions with more ease. Yes, because your body's feeling safer during a transition. Another quick example, Michael Jordan, you may know that he wasn't the star basketball player always, right? He was actually cut from his high school team. But he didn't say, oh, that means it's not, you know, for me, this whole basketball thing. No, right? He got clear about what he wanted. He believed it was possible. He conditioned himself, right, through repetition, right, telling himself these more empowering stories over and over and over again. He conditioned himself to believe that absolutely it is possible. And then he accessed ideas like getting up early in the morning, right, to do the things he wanted to do. And of course, we all know that he achieved his goal, and that's what you will experience as well when you tell yourself, right, you're going to know I can and I will. Right? Some of you already have very empowering stories, of course, because here you are in a session like this, right? You got up this morning and here you are learning these things. So clearly you have a more empowered mindset. So for these next 10 minutes or so, I'm going to dive in a little bit deeper to kind of give you 4 guidelines as to how to play the game. So there are some kind of rules to the game, some of which we've already mentioned, but we're going to kind of allow you to have that even more clearly now. Number 1, you gotta know what you want and why you want it. You need to be targeted. Then you gotta listen for the clues, right? Think about it. If I don't know I'm getting colder, if I'm moving away from what I want, how will I ever redirect, right? So you gotta know where you are in the maze, and I'm gonna guide you on how to do that. And when you're getting colder, what are you gonna do, right? Clearly you wanna get warmer, right? Because you want to achieve what you want to achieve. And you do that by tuning into your thoughts, your emotions, your behavior, and adjusting those, shifting and resetting. And of course, to keep moving, right? Because it's just a matter of time until you achieve what you want. So rule number 1, what do you want, people? Ask yourself, what do I want? What does my heart really desire? You got to make that decision, because if you don't, your unconscious mind doesn't really know how to help you, right? Think about the metaphor of buying a home, right? Or renting a home, right? If you don't know what you want, you may end up seeing hundreds and hundreds of houses, you know, that are available in the MLS, but, right, it's just going to waste all your time and energy. So the more targeted you are, right? Let's say in the, you know, analogy of the buying a home, right? I want a cul-de-sac. I want 4 bedrooms. I want a fireplace, right? And it would be nice to have, right, an extra bathroom. It would be nice to have, you know, this neighborhood or whatever. Right? Then your brain can help you because it knows what you want, and it can help you to access those ideas and thoughts that will be aligned with what it is that you want to create. so that you can land your job with more ease. Because that powerful part of your mind, what we call the subconscious or unconscious mind, all those things that are below your conscious awareness, they really, really do impact how you think, how you feel, and how you behave. In fact, it's been said that over 95% of everything that you think, feel, and do is from that automatic unconscious program. Remember we said earlier when you signed your name in the opposite hand? We do that because the more that your brain can automate, the more that it can preserve energy. Yet your conscious mind has very, very limited resources. The real powerhouse in your body is your heart. What we know from research is that when you make most of your decisions, they are made at a heart level. Yes, emotionally. They're made at a heart level. The information travels up your autonomic nervous system to your brain where it becomes conscious to you, and then you get a body response. So what does that mean? It means that you want to tune into your emotions, right? Because then when you can tune into your emotions and shift and reset using tools like the quick coherence technique, you're going to be able to send a different signal up to your brain to be able to make an even better decision, because your subconscious mind is like a goal achieving machine, right? Think about that client that felt, the client yesterday that, that she's not worthy of being seen, right? Her unconscious mind helps her, right? Like a servo mechanism to always go back to what she expects to see in the world. Yes? So unless she changes the mindset, she will always recreate the same pattern. So you got to give clear and positive instructions. This is what I want, and this is why I want it, because you can only perceive what you focus on. So there are many, many things happening in your world, but you're only conscious of a very small fraction of them. In fact, only 40 bits per second out of millions. Think about the metaphor of buying a car. You decide you want to buy a car, and then what do you see on the road the next day? You start seeing that car, right? So it's not that those cars were not there yesterday. You just weren't conscious of them. They weren't part of your 40 bits per second. You deleted them out. And the same thing goes with job opportunities. There might be a job right there in front of you, but you might not be able to perceive it through your 5 senses if you're not clear about what you want and you don't release the resistance to it. So it's really important to be targeted. What do I want? Of course, to the best of your abilities. And most importantly, how do I want to feel when I land? So you say to yourself, how will I know that I landed right in the right job? What am I going to feel? What am I going to see? What am I going to hear? Right? You really want to kind of tune into that, because the more specific you are, as you practice coherence, you will be able to get ideas like, oh, I should call that company today. I should go on, social media and research that. I should go to the grocery store and pick up some milk. And then you happen to meet somebody in line that is going to help you to, connect you to some opportunity. That's how it works. And it's not an accident. It's the fact that you're radiating that energy, that vibration out into the field. When you don't decide what you want, your subconscious mind is going, hey, I really want to help you. I just don't know what you want. Or maybe you want multiple things. Decide what you want and I'll help you. So you can ask yourself, what's most important to me in the context of my career? Prioritize it, right? Decide what's most important, and then you'll be able to access ideas that align with it. So this is one of your challenges. I want you to grab a piece of paper, not now, of course, but at the end of the session, right? At the end of this event, and say, okay, in the context of my career, what do I want and why do I want it? What's most important to me? What are those values? And make sure that whatever decisions you make, that they align with those values, because you are more likely to be fulfilled when you do. So rule number 2, listen for the clues, right? So we're not necessarily going to have people shouting in our ears, apply for that job or don't apply for that job. But what are we going to get? We are going to get our heart's intuitive guidance. Yes, because anytime we feel an emotion that does not feel good, that is an indication that we need to get coherent, right? To practice that quick coherence technique and tune in to what's right for us. It means that we're moving away from what we want, because when we are feeling those negative emotions or thinking those negative thoughts, we project that out. Yes, and we're limiting the possibilities that come our way. So take your emotional temperature, just like we did at the beginning of our session. How am I feeling right now? Do that multiple times a day, 3 to 4 times a day, and then get coherent. right? Focus your attention in your heart, activate a positive feeling, get coherent again. You will be even more productive, and you will know which direction you're facing, right? So you gotta tune into your emotions. It's like your internal GPS, right? Which way to go. So you know that you're moving away when you experience a negative emotion. You know that you're moving towards when you experience a positive emotion, because you're able to think of the best thoughts. Yes, you're able to be in the best state physically and neurologically, right? To get the ideas and follow those ideas. So it's very simple. It's really about tuning into how you feel, self-regulating your emotions so that you can continue to move towards what you want. Now, if you want more details about some of the things that I'm sharing with you today, I have a podcast called The Mindset Game. And you will get even more specific tools on how to self-regulate your emotions, how to identify your limiting beliefs, and how to shift them. But remember, any change is going to involve some depleting emotions. That's normal. You can expect it. But what we want to do is to self-regulate our emotions so we don't get into a situation where, we're at an interview or at a networking event, and because we haven't self-regulated our emotions, we're not tuned in to the fact that we're colder right in the moment, that we're not feeling confident or ease. And then what happens is that incoherent signal can actually block us from saying the right things in an interview, projecting the right energy. Some of you might have experienced what we call cortical inhibition, that you just blink, right? You planned all this stuff and you just go blink. And that's just because of your physical state. And you can avoid that by practicing the tools that you're learning. So the challenge is asking yourself multiple times a day, how am I feeling? How am I feeling? Multiple times a day. And then when you notice that you're feeling a depleting emotion, change direction. So how do you do that? You change the only three things that you can change: your own thoughts, your emotions, and your behavior. How do you change your thoughts? Well, you kind of do what my client did, right? What's the story I'm telling myself? Right? Like what is the story, right? I want this, but, right? I want to land this job, but what completes the but, right? And then you'll notice all the worries and fears and doubts, and then just challenge that thought, right? Because it's just a thought that you created at some point in your life, but it's not even really true. Ask yourself, is this really true? Like without a shadow of a doubt. How do I even know it's true? Where did this come from? And then once you begin to dissolve that program by challenging it, focus on a new, better story. What can I tell myself that's even more empowering? I am worthy. I am enough. I got this. Right? And when you do that, you get a different set of chemicals into your body, you get more coherent, and then you're able to access the right thoughts, take those actions to get what you want. So you say to yourself, what would it take for me to move towards what I want? Remember, you can change your emotions with the quick coherence technique. Do that multiple times a day, right? There's no reason for you to feel depleting emotions during a change. You can manage your state no matter what is happening, no matter how difficult things are, and practice that at least 3 times a day to really give your body a chance. And then change your behaviors. Of course, no brainer, right? Take those consistent actions, but it will certainly be much easier for you to do when you are more coherent, when you're kinder to yourself and others, because you'll be able to access the path of least resistance and then just keep going. Right? You might have heard this 1,000 times. Don't give up. This is absolutely true. Be persistent, be resilient, right? Use the tools that you're learning today and keep moving, because you will find that treasure in the maze. We know without a doubt a new mindset always leads to new results. The question is, are you playing the game deliberately? Are you more conscious about what you are thinking and feeling and how you are behaving? When you are, then you can use the tools to adjust, change direction, and move towards what you want more consistently. So these rules are available to you in the handout. There are also some podcast episodes, the earlier ones that I have on the Mindset Game, that will give you even more detail, much more science than I could in a short session like this, because you can absolutely break through any limiting thought, any limiting emotion, no matter how long you've thought it. You absolutely can. You can rewire it. We know that from science. And when you do that, you will find what you are searching for, whether it's in your career, your health, or in any area of your life. And you're going to do that with ease and joy, because you're not alone. Remember that quote: When you want something, the universe conspires to help you achieve it. Your job is to tune into how you feel as best as you can, and keep moving. So thank you for your attention today. If you want even more, feel free to check out the Mindset Game podcast. Please connect with me on LinkedIn. When you do, I'll send you a free course on mindset. This is what CEOs, I use for CEOs to help them to build their businesses or cut through any limiting pattern that might be holding them back. Happy to share that with you free of charge. Just connect with me and send your email address. I'll send you a free code for that. And I have a Facebook group called The Mindset Game. And if you go to the mindsetgamegroup.com, it is a private group, happy to let you in. And I share posts every day to help you stay motivated and moving towards what you want. So pure pleasure. Thank you all.
Thank you, Vered. Fantastic content as always. Thank you for walking us through a shortened version of your program. And we really appreciate it. And hopefully many of you on the line today were able to benefit from what Vered shared today. So if you have questions for Vered, feel free to chat with her directly and she'll be available at the breakout sessions also. So this is our virtual wave, everyone. Woo! So virtual wave. Thank you, Vered. All right, we are going to move over to Venture. And Walter, before I introduce you, can you turn your volume on and say hello so we make sure that everything's working here?
Hello, everyone.
We gotcha. Okay. Well, thank you so much for being here today. Walter Sabrin is a recruiter with 23 years experience, and he's involved with all size firms, both corporate and agency, from startups to Fortune 100 organizations. And as you may know, a great recruiting department helps to increase retention, improve culture, and find the very best talent in the marketplace. He has worked many, many verticals across the US, Mexico, Canada, Europe, and Latin America. Walter is highly competitive with high moral standards and has a love of nature. So he is not one to waste time. He puts efforts on the recruiting and making sure the right candidates are fitting into the right puzzle pieces. He is the Senior VP of Recruiting at Venture Employer Services, the fastest growing PEO in the country, which is personal employee organization. You're gonna have to tell us, I can't remember right off the top of my head what PEO stands for, but it's HR organization. And after 20 years experience and an expert in this industry, he is solving client needs for the right talent. You may also find him on LinkedIn. So make sure you all connect with him. We'll put his URL right in the chat so you can click on it. And he also believes in paying it forward. So welcome, Walter, to our event today.
Wow, Jessica, I have to travel with you because that's such a great introduction. You know, I may retain your services, but thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for allowing me to speak to your community. And I was lucky enough to jump on a little early and I got to listen to Vered. I'm a little worried that I'm not going to be as engaging as her. She was fantastic. Like you said, great content. And I will be contacting Vered later on to maybe speak to my recruiting team as there's so many highs and lows of recruiting that we could certainly maybe use her services. So Jessica, thank you again. I do appreciate everyone. Right, that's who I am. I lead a recruiting team for a company called Venture Employer Services. And Venture is the largest private PEO in the United States. Now, a PEO, professional employer organization, you're probably very familiar with ADP and Paychex. Those are, they're the two biggest in the country. We're the third largest, and we're the largest private PEO because ADP and Paychex are public companies. And as you may be able to see, from this slide, these are some of the properties that we own. So we have a presence across the United States. We do searches for all different types of companies, for all different types of candidates. So if anyone listening today is looking for a position, they know someone who's looking for a position, They're not looking for a position, but maybe they want to test and see their value and test the market. Maybe they want to have a salary negotiating conversation. We are open to speaking, certainly to you and to have that talk. Anything to do with bettering your career. So Venture, we have over 40 offices, which, certainly covers a big geography, out there. We are also, we work outside the United States also. In fact, I'm speaking to you right now from Medellin, Colombia, where we own a recruiting company who we hire Colombian people to work for US companies. Because, certainly the cost for wages is, much less. But I digress. If anyone owns a business and wants to learn more about that, I could certainly have that conversation. But for now, speaking about our US recruiting, look, it's a challenging market. It's a challenging market for candidates, and it's a challenging market for companies as well. As I feel that more of the people listening to this presentation right now are in the candidate sphere, I'm going to address that. What are you doing right now? You're going to LinkedIn, you're going to ZipRecruiter, you are putting up postings, etc. All that, certainly is good. But, statistics say that most people find a better job through their network, through people they know. So the fact that, this organization is a connector of people, I think it's fantastic. I think it's fantastic that we can now expand all of our networks. Yep, I know we're all on LinkedIn and we're all on social media or business media, but however, it really is the personal contacts who you can really find a lot of opportunities, a lot of positions. And here we have some of our positions. Venture, we have about 1,500 employees, mostly office work. So it's mostly white collar-ish type positions. Payroll tax, benefits, sales, marketing, technology, legal, so all throughout the white collar universe. However, we work a lot in warehouse, industrial, blue collar positions with companies all across the country. So no matter your background and your interest level of what you work, where you work, what you want to do, feel free to reach out to me, because those are the postings that we're putting up are just a small, it really is a small percentage of the openings that we have. We do have a website, venture.com, and that's Venture, VENSURE. And on venture.com, we have a careers page, which you're more than welcome to, to look at. And then lucky for you and lucky for me, I think, I am the only Walter Sabrin on all of LinkedIn. So I'm easy to find. I believe, it's not substantiated, but I believe I'm the only Walter Sabrin in the world. Now, again, I cannot prove that. So if someone finds another Walter, please send them my way. But I believe I'm the only one. So if you're looking for me, I do use Facebook for jobs, for job postings, to let people know about them. I do use LinkedIn. I'm an early adopter to LinkedIn. So I've maxed out my connections, but I'm always opening up to more people, more connections. So I'd be happy to find people better work. I mean, that's been my life's passion now. The past 20, 25 years, I've been finding people jobs, better jobs, new careers, the same career. And it really has become a passion. It's hard to call a 23-year career a passion project, but that is my passion. So anyone, who is listening today, if you have any interest for yourself or someone please feel free to reach out to me in any way. Again, we'll throw up my email, but besides my email, I'm very easy, to find. And sometimes, even what Vered was pointing to was sometimes the nervousness or the fears in interviews or in speaking to your boss, your hiring manager, regarding salary discussions, regarding anything to do with your career. Feel free to reach out to me. We could always have a conversation on best practices, the questions you should be asking, some of the questions you should not be asking, the best way to have your LinkedIn profile present, all those items, anything to do with your career, anything to do with your career message, anything to do with your career intentions, goals, initiatives, we'd be happy, to discuss. And it could be as specific as I'm looking for a job, or it could be as general as, yeah, you know what, I'm pretty happy. I'm not really looking for a position, but I have a question about this. I have a question about unemployment. I have a question about that. I'm not going to say I'm an expert in anything, but after doing this career for so long, I do feel I have a lot to offer, and it would be my pleasure. It'd be my pleasure to speak to any of you anytime. And my name is Walter Sabrin. There's my email. My company is Venture. And Jessica, I hope I didn't go over. I tried to keep it. Vered was very good keeping her times. I hope I did too. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Walter. I feel like we need a "Where's Walt" hashtag or something. Here's the deal. If somebody can find a Walter Sabrin somewhere in the world, send me a note, send me proof, and I am buying you time with Vered, okay?
Oh.
That's the challenge, you guys. That's the challenge. You go find a Walt Sabrin somewhere in the world, and you get time with Vered on us. Thank you, Walt. Really appreciate your time today.
Thank you.
All right, so now we get to hear from PayPal. So Sarah Kristen is currently a member of PayPal's global talent acquisition team, focused on their high volume roles, which include customer service, risk, sales, control testing, executive escalations, merchant onboarding, underwriting, and so much more. This is Sarah's first time here. We're so glad to have you. Welcome, Sarah.
Hi, thank you so much for having me today. I really appreciate it. Walter, you and I share something together. Although my name isn't Walter, I am the only Sarah Kristen in the entire world because I have a made-up last name. So I will do the same challenge. If you can find another Sarah Kristen, I will wish you luck in that one. So I am a recruiter for PayPal, and I have been a part of PayPal's global talent acquisition team for a little over 4 years now. I unfortunately don't have access to such slides. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. At PayPal, it is truly a career that helps the people with us grow. We are firm believers of making the people that join us be more than just a job. We want them to really have a passion for what they do, a passion for the company, and see the opportunities that we have. If we move forward a little bit about PayPal, our company is, hold on, thank you. Our company is a digital payments platform. We currently have 392 million active account holders worldwide and continues to grow. PayPal is more than just one company. We have Venmo with us. That's one of our major subsidiaries. We have Braintree. We have Honey. We have Hyperwallet. We have iZettle. And we continue to acquire other payment platforms and ways to pay. We are committed to democratizing financial services for people and for businesses so that they can join and thrive in the global economy. We are hosted in multiple sites across the US, including Chandler and Scottsdale, Arizona. We have a site in Omaha, Nebraska. We have a site in Austin, Texas, Chicago, and then we have multiple roles throughout the world as well. We do have a Hyperwallet site in Vancouver. We have multiple sites in Europe, in India, in Singapore. So please take a look. We have 4 core values that we absolutely believe in: collaboration, wellness, inclusion, and innovation. And this is something that we truly believe in, because at the heart of PayPal is all of these beliefs. We believe that we execute everything with a one team mentality. We support one another. We want to make sure that our employees experience wellness. And it's not just a physical wellness, it's not just a mental wellness, but also financial wellness. We are firm believers in inclusion, and that includes a diversity of thought and making sure that we are empathetic and that people feel like they truly belong to our company. And we are innovators. So we are the premier and #1 financial technology company in the world. And that's because we continue to grow and continue to develop our products. Our CEO and president, Dan Schulman, has a podcast called Never Stand Still. And the thought is that we always do have to change. So kind of going back to what Vera introduced earlier, we have to be agents of change, and it's okay to change. That is where the growth happens. That's where our personal and professional growth happens, is within that change. So we are committed to diversity and inclusion. At every site across the world, we have employee resource groups, and we invite every single person to enjoy them. We do not differentiate people just based on their backgrounds, on their orientations, or on their statuses. But we want them to excel because of those things. They bring value to who they are. They bring value to the workplace because of that. We actively support our employees through diversity and inclusion initiatives. And through those diversity and inclusion initiatives, we also bring that into the community. So that way people in the community can benefit from those as well. We have incredible benefits that we offer to our employees. Every single benefit that we have starts day one, and that includes health, medical benefits. We have a very competitive 401k program. It's matched dollar for dollar. We have an employee purchase stock program. We offer training and education allowance supports. We have employee resources. And one of the most unique benefits that we offer at PayPal is our sabbatical program. After every 5 years of service, every employee gets 4 weeks of paid vacation to do whatever they want, go wherever they want, do whatever they want, completely paid, in addition to whatever PTO they already have. So it's really important that our employees know that they matter, and we do that through the benefits that we offer to them. We have a careers page, and I will actually put it into the chat as well. You can view any role that we have by any location we have. You can look at it by your category, by something that sparks your interest. We do have a variety of careers that we offer. And when you apply to a job at PayPal, your profile is kept on. And as you continue to see other roles, you can hit reapply for any other role, and you don't have to fill out all that information that you already filled out the first time. So we do try to make the candidate experience really easy. As you apply, recruiters do look at the skills and experience of each candidate, making sure they're a match for that position, and they'll contact those candidates to discuss their background, discuss their skills, discuss the position, and possible next steps and what to expect in the interview process. I am going to share some of the open positions that we are currently looking for. And some of these are located in the Arizona area. Some of these are a national position. All of these are North America roles. We have investigator roles, team leader roles for our customer. We actually have teammate roles, just to bring in people that talk to our businesses, talk to our the people that have accounts with us. We have project manager roles. We have engineering roles, investigator roles, account executive roles, executive assistant roles. We even have a lot of tech roles, and this is the time of year we're starting to look for interns. So anyone who has recently graduated from college, we have an incredible internship program where we will help develop their skills at a paid internship level. So I will share not only my LinkedIn profile, I will share also our PayPal Jobs website for anyone that is interested. And I'm excited to talk to anyone who's interested in our opportunities. Thank you again, Jessica, Jessica and everyone else for having me join today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Sarah. Well done. Yay. All right. We are on the hunt for Sarah Christian and Walter Sabrin. Thanks again. So I'd like to introduce you all to another Sarah. And this Sarah is the talent delivery manager at Avanade. She's leading a team of 9 talent advisors and hiring for the security talent community within North America. She has over 16 years of experience in the recruiting industry and is passionate about helping others. She is an Arizona native, rare but true, and still resides in the Valley. She will be joined today. Probably, I'm not sure if he's going to be speaking, but Sil Garcia will be in the breakout room session as well later. So welcome, Sarah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Can you hear me?
I can. We got you.
Okay, perfect. All right. Well, let me go ahead and just get started. So as Jessica mentioned, I am the talent delivery manager for Avanade, and Avanade is the leading provider of innovative digital and cloud services, business solutions, and design-led experiences delivered through the power of people in the Microsoft ecosystem. So one of our employee value propositions is to, our purpose is to make a genuine human impact. Here at Avanade, we are located globally, so we do have more than $2 billion in sales, an average of 20% year-over-year growth since 2000, and a footprint of 50,000 professionals within our company. We're consistently working on projects with different clients to keep them protected from a security threat perspective, and we have service centers of excellence where our consultants primarily are experts in that dynamics, that cloud, that digital marketing space, and more. I can go ahead and go to the next page here. So together we do go beyond. We love to provide our employees with distinctive experiences, limitless learning, as well as ambitious growth. And we do have unparalleled and boundaryless experiences that really shape your career with opportunities you're not going to find elsewhere. We offer our employees to become Microsoft certified. We're curious to embrace challenges and leverage our opportunities to learn and lead with the best and build with collective experience. So unique that Vered was talking earlier in regards to change. We were just on a call yesterday talking about Change House and the different feelings we go through as we embrace change. So I think it's something that all companies are definitely, trying to echo, because things are consistently changing every single day. And we have to be able to be, agile and grow. And that's what we do here at Avanade. From a technologist perspective, we do offer distinctive experiences. So Avanade is a joint venture between Accenture and Microsoft. So we have that, we're able to provide a foundation of support that encourages our bold innovations. As mentioned earlier, we always provide limitless learning for all of our employees. We embrace growth and development and ensure that people are able to move up within our organization. And that's how we've worked since 2000. We think big, we achieve, and we're backed by a global team of people who are passionate about innovating and growing just as we are. With COVID happening, as we all know, the cybersecurity industry has grown significantly. So we are rapidly hiring. I can't see what this slide says because all I see are the people, sorry. But we also invest in our employees. So our employees are able to move internally between different talent communities or different countries to share knowledge. All of our positions are remote positions, and we really embrace that work-life value. So as long as our employees are within 2 hours of an international airport, we can hire you and you can work remote. We have volunteer time off to participate in volunteer activities within the community. And then we also offer different and sponsor different events. I have an employee, share purchase program as well. So we're able to purchase stock within the organization. And then we also have a great extended benefit to all of our employees from a well-being perspective. We give them $2,000 to focus on that work-life balance, to use that $2,000 to purchase something that's going to help them in their health and better well-being for their mental health. Some of our employees purchase items for their home office. Some of them purchase One of them purchased 3 mountain bikes because it was what they love to do as their passion. So we really offer that work-life balance and mental health. From a career perspective, I know I talk a lot faster than the others. We have a lot of opportunity for growth. I think I talk fast because we move so fast and we have so many positions that we're hiring for, so I'm always on the go. But not only do we have positions located here in Phoenix, which I have listed, all of our positions are remote. We hire across all of North America within that security community, as well as other communities if you have that technical background. We have a hot footprint that we're trying to grow here in Phoenix for our application security consultants, cloud and network security consultants, data protection and digital identity, as well as that cyber defense. And that is Avanade.
There we go. Hi, great. Okay, thank you, Sarah. You're like, and I'm done. I gotta go recruit. Thank you so much, Sarah. I do have a question for you because it's a theme today. Does anyone else in the world have your name?
I have not looked, but honestly, I don't think so because I have a unique last name.
Wow, maybe
I might have to look and see. I know, I'm like, I need to search myself and see if anyone else has my name. And it's a unique story about me, even though I'm with Avanade now. Jessica and I have been connected for years and years and years. I presented when we were in person in Phoenix when I was doing the hiring for American Express. So it's nice to see how our first full circle life comes around 5 years.
That's right. That's right. That's right. You were at the, when we were hosting North Phoenix Baptist Church, I think, right? Yeah. Yep. All right. Well, thanks again, Sarah. Appreciate you and your time today. All right. So I would like to introduce you all to Anna Schulman-Billo. I say it wrong. I'm so sorry, Anna.
I'll say it. Don't worry.
Every time it tongue-ties me. But one of the things that we have done over the pandemic year and a half, people continue to ask us, I'm really kind of thinking about different types of opportunities. And many of you may have heard about the Great Resignation. And so that has lended itself to the ability to bring in some different types of opportunities. And so when Anna reached out to us, I was like, wow, this is exactly the kind of thing people are asking for. So I wanted to introduce you. She's going to spend a couple minutes here telling you about what kind of employment opportunities there are, what this opportunity is. She has more than 20 years of experience in the career transition field. She's been a career coach, a recruiter, outplacement consultant, and a relocation expert. But prior to that, she worked in corporate finance and software project management and she has an MBA in finance and management from the University of San Francisco and a BA in management and economics from Simmons College in Boston. But in 2017, here's where it gets really interesting. She was looking for a different path. She attended a workshop on franchise options and immediately loved the concept. She bought her own franchise license with the Entrepreneur's Source and has been helping professionals discover options outside the traditional career path since then. And throughout her career, she's been focused on helping people get the job and the life they loved. One of her favorite things to do, and I've seen her do this, is be a matchmaker between people and resources. She leaves the romantic matchmaking for the professionals, but she loves giving people ideas, suggestions, resources, and hope as they navigate a confusing and frustrating situation. She's an excellent listener, coach, and facilitator. And as a career ownership coach, she works really hard to understand her clients, and each person has their own dreams and goals and unique set of skills and experiences. Many people come to her not knowing what they want, and just that they want something different. And she helps them identify a vision for their future and explore ways to achieve that vision. And then since becoming a franchise owner in 2017, she's helped hundreds of clients explore their franchise options in a safe, fun, and educational environment. Most of them never become franchise owners. However, all of them did learn about options and possibilities they never knew existed. So welcome, Anna. We're so glad to have you here.
Thank you so much for the wonderful introduction. And to continue the theme, I can tell you for a fact that there are millions of other Anna Brambilas out there in the world. And the reason I know that is that Brambilla is my married name. I married a man from a town called Pavia in Italy, northern Italy. And Brambilla is as popular as Jones or Smith here in America. And then Anna is a very, very popular Italian name. So there's millions of Anna Brambillas. I don't think there's too many. My maiden name is Schulman. I don't think there's too many Anna Schulmans. It's an old-fashioned name with an old-fashioned last name. So maybe there are a few other Anna Schulmans, but I know that there's a million Anna Brambillas. So there you go. But I love the theme we've got going on here. So and thank you so much, Jessica, for the wonderful welcome and introduction. I so appreciate that. I am just thrilled, absolutely thrilled to be a contributor and a sponsor of Career Connectors. I was introduced to you guys about a year ago, maybe, I don't know, I don't remember, 9 months ago, with a client of mine. And she and I worked together for a few months, and she ended up saying that franchising wasn't right for her, and that's wonderful. She says, but I loved the way you work, and you've got to meet Jessica. So Jessica and I were able to connect, and I just so believe in what this organization does, and I'm so, so grateful to be able to sponsor financially, but also emotionally. I'm referring people to you guys all the time because I work with clients who are in that frustration. And Baird, I so completely understood what you were talking about, that feeling of, yikes, what happened? And how am I going to change that? And so anyway, that's just a little bit about all of that. So I'm here to tell you about something completely different. And what I love about what I do is that it's a wonderful complement to your job search. Because what I'm doing is helping people simply explore other options. I encourage you, I put my LinkedIn profile earlier on, I'll put it in a little bit later. And one of the things that I'm most proud of are the facts that I have several, I think it's 16 or 17 recommendations on LinkedIn right now. Half of those people will never purchase a franchise with me, never invest in it. That's not their thing, and that's wonderful. And they still took some time to say really nice things about me. And oh gosh, I get giddy and I get teary-eyed when I get a new one. And so please take a look at those and realize that what I want to do is to help you explore. So there's a lot of myths about franchising, and I'm going to go through some of that. So essentially what a franchise is, at its core, it's a proven business model. It can be done again and again and again. What I like about franchising is the concept you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. So I own my own business. This is my business. I get to run it how I want to. I get to sponsor incredible organizations like this when I want to, but I'm not by myself, which means that I have an entire team of people whose only job it is to make me personally and my colleagues more successful. I was at an entrepreneurship panel just a couple of days ago, and they said something fascinating. A small business coach who's been in the business for 20 years, said that the biggest reasons small businesses fail, is because there's no demand for their market and no demand for their product or services. In reality, with a franchise, that's already been proven for you. Not only that, they will give you the recipe. They'll give you the startup assistance. Most of them will give you a very detailed step-by-step approach, but they also give you the ongoing support. It's a win-win business solution because the more that you're successful, the more that they're successful. And I think that's really powerful. And all kinds of other support. And of course, you do pay for that, but don't tell my franchise that, but I pay for it, and don't tell them, but I would pay more for what I'm getting because I think it's really a powerful amount. But next slide, please, Sheila. So if people are interested in entrepreneurship at all, and most people in the world, I think a statistics I saw was 75% of the workforce would love to be independent someday. And let me tell you, starting your own business is scary. It is a very, very big leap. For some people, you're born entrepreneurs, and that's just wonderful. And I'm sure we all know those people who couldn't have a boss if it killed them, if they just couldn't do it. Other people are born. My husband's like this. He just loves the corporate environment. He just loves having a boss and teammates, and that's wonderful. And a lot of my clients are like that. And then there's the people in the middle, like myself and like a lot of my clients, who want the support of a larger organization, want the hands-on, want the camaraderie, want all of that, but don't want to be dictated to by a boss. The three things that I hear the most often from my clients are, I am sick of the politics, I'm sick of making money for other people, and I'm sick of working for jerks. And I can tell you, I understood and identified with all three of those. So the next slide, please. So we're going to be doing dispelling of some myths. Next slide. First of all, it's not just donuts and fries. This is a chart. Yeah, it's a bit of an eye chart. This is for franchising in general, that there's this huge variety of franchises available. In our portfolio, we have a couple hundred franchises to choose from, and I can tell you that only 4% have anything to do with food. So most people are thinking, oh, I don't want to buy a franchise. I don't want to buy a McDonald's or a Subway. And I say, I agree with you. I don't want to buy one of those either. And it's not my style, not what I'm looking for. And in reality, we have franchises in 85 different industries. Broadly speaking, we have things in business services, home improvement, home restoration, fitness, kids, seniors, business services, consulting, training, printing, all kinds of different things. So we have a huge, huge variety of options available. Next slide, please. So these are the myths that we're going to go through, and I'll go through them in more detail. Next slide, please. So the first one that, I have to get my things ready. The first thing is that you can only, that finding the right business will make you successful. Well, yes and no. Finding a right business can make you successful, but it doesn't have to be the right business. A little bit of a sort of a little known secret about franchising is that anybody who has the right attitude and has the right ability to be coached and is following the model, your chances for success in almost any franchise is astronomical. So a lot of people think I have to do something I love, or I have to do something that is directly related to my past experience or whatever. Not true at all. What you can do, though, is find something that plays to your strengths. The three things that I love helping my clients with are, first and foremost, figuring out what do they want with their lives. Going back to what Vered was saying about what do they want to do and what kind of vision, that's what I work with too. What really makes your heart sing? What are you going to be doing on a daily basis? How are you going to be doing that? We talk about, why are you looking? What's that fire in the belly? There's got to be a reason to simply explore other options. And finally, what are your transferable skills? And we work together as a client and coach to help you get to that point. The other thing is, I'll know immediately the right opportunity when I see it. And that's one of the biggest misconceptions out there. I had a client last year. I'd been working with him, went through our process, went through the experience and got to know him, came to finding a franchises for him. So after our conversation, I came to a curated list and I gave him 3 options to choose from. And he was very quiet, which is very unusual for him. And he says to me at the end, okay, I'll go check these out. I promise you I'll have one conversation with each of the franchises. Okay, great. So we get on the call the next week and he was completely different. And I thought, okay, what happened here? And he says, I'll be honest with you, Anna, I hated those questions. I hated those franchises you showed me when you told me about them. I thought they were awful. I thought you hadn't listened to me at all. I thought they were horrific. But I promised you I'd have one conversation with them, and he did. And turns out 2 of them were fantastic. One of them wasn't a fit, and that's great. But the other 2, and he spent a couple of months looking and comparing and contrasting, finally chose one of those that he hated initially and is just doing phenomenally well. So it's very, very important to keep an open mind and just know that it's all about a journey, an experience, an exploration, and that's what I offer. I don't know of anything about the X business. I can't do anything in that business. I can tell you that most of the franchises in my system don't want you to have deep industry experience. They can teach you that stuff. What they want is what you have already, the intrinsic transferable skills, the ability to manage a project, manage teams, build something, and that drive to make something better for your life and for your family. That's what they want, and that's what they're looking for. Next slide, please. Corporate HQ will dictate everything. I have no control. Certainly a very, very common misconception. And to be sure, there are certain franchises, I would dare say that McDonald's is like that they have very strict requirements. And they want that. They want you want to know every time you go to Medellin, Colombia, like Walter is, or Pavia, Italy, or downtown Phoenix, you want to know that when you go to a McDonald's, it's consistent. And so they have very consistent and very strict requirements. Not every franchise is like that. Mine, for example, is not like that. And most of the franchises allow tremendous flexibility and allow you to do a lot of different things, which is, I think, is a very, very powerful, neat way. They give you a recipe. Many of you might be bakers or cooks out there and just enjoy home cooking. Baking, as you probably know, is a science, and you have to be pretty precise on the measurements, and you can't substitute baking powder for baking soda necessarily, but that's okay, and that's what some franchises are like. Most franchises that I know of are much more flexible. There's more like cooking. I love to cook, and cooking is very important for me, but I have a family with very specific desires and dislikes, shall we say. A lot of them don't like certain spices, or don't like this, or don't like that. So if a recipe calls for cumin, for example, I know that I can't use cumin, so I'll have to find something else. And that's what a franchise allows you to do, is to mix and match things that you want to do. I can't be creative in a franchise. So not true. There's tremendous creativity. There's tremendous ability to do what you want to, how you want to do it. You need to make sure that you're staying within system guidelines and system standards, but your franchise will help you with that. And as we go through, if we work together, going and exploring, we'll certainly compare and contrast. And last myth I want to talk about, franchises cost more than I could possibly afford. And most people think that a franchise costs, like a McDonald's, you need $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, and it has to be cash on hand. You can't possibly you can't show up unless you have that. In reality, in our franchises, we have the total first year investment is about 1/10 of that. So the majority of our franchises start around $75,000 to $150,000 to $200,000. Obviously, not pocket change. Most people don't have that in their back pocket, but we have great, great funding resources, so that I have funding options for almost everybody. And so you need to have, 1/10 of that or 20% of that, and I'm happy to go through that with you. The next thing I want to talk about just a little bit briefly is well, actually, I'll talk about this slide. Thank you, Sheila. This is great. So think outside the box, shift your mindset. Such a great slide from what Vered was talking about shifting your mindset. And I think this is such a complementary idea. Think that it's different. It's not just fast food. They don't just take the franchisers don't just take your money and do nothing, or that you have to know everything about running a business. They will tell you and teach you all of that stuff very easily. Next slide, please. So again, you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. And very briefly, let me tell you my process, and then I know I'm running out of time. My process is to work with people and to get to know you. Find out what's happening for you. What are you trying to achieve? It's a series of conversations. I don't know if I've mentioned this often enough, but there's no cost to working with me. There's no obligation, no pressure, none of that stuff. Get on my calendar and let's have a conversation. Should you happen to end up in a franchise, then I would get compensated by the franchisor. So it's very similar to a residential real estate agent. And like a good real estate agent, the only thing I ever care about is what's best for you. That's the only thing that I care about. I have plenty of people for whom franchising is the right fit, that I make a very nice living, and it really allows me to focus on each individual client and what's best for my client. So I would love to chat with any of you. I think my LinkedIn profile, my website, I think Joey was kind enough to put that in there. Happy to reach out, talk to me, ask questions. I do bring, as Jessica mentioned, I do have more than 20 years experience in the whole field of career transition as a recruiter. Like Vered, I worked for Right Management Consultants, which is the #2 outplacement coaching firm in the world, and have that experience. I'm not in that field anymore, so my knowledge is a little bit rusty, but I'm always happy to have conversations. Love to just chat with you. Find out what's going on for you. Take a look at my LinkedIn profile. Please read my recommendations. I'm just so touched by that and realize that the only thing I care about is helping you and figuring out what's best for you. And with that, I'll turn it back over to Jessica.
Thank you so much, Anna. One of the things, I just really appreciate you being here. But also, I've heard from multiple people that have met with you, and some of them didn't end up doing a franchise, but they said you helped them get out of their head, even having those conversations. So
I'm so glad.
We're really, really grateful for that. And so I've seen some of your comments today, everyone on the chat, about just kind of feeling stuck or frustrated. And it is worth a conversation with Anna. Anything she's going to encourage you. So all of our hiring, all of you that have spoken today have really brought a sense of hope and encouragement. So thank you all for doing that. We greatly appreciate you. All right, I am going to do just a closing segment here, and then we'll get off into our breakout sessions. If you have any feedback for us, we take that very seriously. So shoot us over a note at contact@careerconnectors.org, and we review any feedback we got. If we're putting together our 2022 calendar now. And so if you have any thoughts on companies or content that you would love to see us do next year, please let us know, and we will take that into consideration as we put our calendar together. Thank you to all of our partners. Couldn't do this without you guys. And so we are grateful that you are here and you are serving our community in this way. All right, we have a couple options for you guys. Additional steps you can take after today. We have a DISC assessment through a partnership with Top Talent Consulting, where if you take this, it doesn't cost you anything at all. It's a $99 assessment, but it's free to you, anyone in career transition. Go onto that link, you'll get a report of about usually like 22, 23 pages long that tells you about yourself, your communication style, but also your ideal work environment, strengths, and this is stuff you can utilize in your interviewing and on your resume. We also are working on our event. We do a recap blog for every event, and so we have an awesome blogger that has been furiously typing this whole event, and that will be posted out on our website, as well as we do the webinars that are posted. You can also catch us on all the social media platforms to see, upcoming events and engage with us on some of the career content that we have. We do have some great events coming up, you guys. So on Thursday, October 28th, we have over 20 employers booked for what we're calling West Valley Job-a-Palooza. We did an East Valley Job-a-Palooza. And if you are not in Arizona, we are basically, Arizona, Phoenix area is kind of divided into two main areas, East Valley and West Valley. And so we are focusing primarily on companies on October 28th that are in the West Valley. And we're using it, these are more of a true career fairs where you pop around to different booths and talk to all these employers. And so that will be on October 28th. Even if you're not in the West Valley, I encourage you to attend these because many of these employers are offering remote opportunities. Really, really exciting stuff here. So that is in a couple weeks. And then on November 4th, we are doing a diversity and inclusion event. And so we'll have about 12 employers at this event. We're doing a panel where these employers are going to be talking about their diversity initiatives, their employee resource groups, how to, and just these are some of the best employers in the Valley. And so again, come to that event and hear what they have to say and also about all their great jobs. And then we're back on November 18th to our normal programming, which is an event similar to this. Positive Intelligence and Mental Fitness for the Career Journey by Shelley Johnson. We have Goodwill of Central and Northern Arizona coming to feature their professional jobs. And then Anna will be back, and then we'll have 2 or 3 other employers as well. All right, so just this is our West Valley Jobapalooza. Sheila, did you want to jump in here? I thought you told me you wanted to say something here.
Yeah, I'm happy to do a little sneak peek if you want.
Great. Yes.
Yeah, I just thought it would be useful because this event, like Jessica said, is just a little bit different format than what we did today. So I want to show you, and I'm going to bring it up.
Again, we normally have these 3-hour events that are like this, but this is different where you get to go visit all the booths for all the companies.
Yeah, so the good news is as soon as you register for this event, you can go ahead and browse our lobby. And what you're seeing on screen right now is the event lobby. And the way it's laid out is here on the left would be, you know, your profile, your home button, and you can set you can modify your profile over here. But what I want to show you is the event is consisting of all these booths. They're like little square icons, and you can look around to all the different, you scroll down to see all the different company booths. We're in process of getting all the information in the booths, but I think Honor Health is pretty much built out. So I'll show you Honor Health. So I clicked enter into the booth, and you can see there's a couple of different tabs in the booth. I can click, say, see more. I can click over to their careers page or about Honor Health, and you can see even though the event isn't happening yet, if I want, and you know, this is a couple weeks before the event, I can leave a note right here. If you know you're interested in an Honor Health job or you've applied and you want to leave a note for the recruiting team, right here, and it's going to go to the recruiter associated with this event. So you can leave Honor Health a note, and you can read all about them ahead of the event. Now, if we were during the event time on that day, 9 to noon Arizona time, there would be a green chat button right here. And if you want to speak with the recruiters, you could just click that chat button, and then you may have a slight wait because there's other people also wanting to chat with the recruiters. And then while you're waiting to be called to chat, you could go ahead and keep browsing, and you can get in a few different lines for different companies as you wait to be connected. And it's not a long wait time, but we do like the recruiters to give you that one-on-one time. The other thing I want to mention is be ready if you come to this event, because what happens is the conversations with recruiters, it all starts with a typing, like we're doing here at this event, the chat, a typing chat. But the recruiters have the ability to invite you to either a voice or a video chat. So there's interviews that happen right during this event. And the other piece of this, which is awesome, is besides this Brazen platform, we have Pipeline AZ, and they are an online job portal, essentially, that does a job matching. So all during this event and for a couple weeks after, if you also register on Pipeline with your profile, they are working hard to match you to jobs. So employers love to use Pipeline because it's kind of a shortcut to find their talent. So I think that was about it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So we're working really hard to offer different types of opportunities to get connected to jobs. And so the next slide Sheila will show you here is just a list of the companies that we have booked for this event. And so you can see there's quite a few there and lots of opportunities to connect with these employers. Also, something really cool that's happening, you guys, when we meet in person, we always have these amazing photographers that volunteer their time to take your business portraits and your headshots. Well, because we can't offer that right now in person, we have this great photographer, Gordon Murray, who travels around the Phoenix area and offers to take your photo. And so it's no cost. And then you'll be able to utilize your headshot, and he does beautiful work, as you can see. He'll give you the file so you can upload it to your LinkedIn profile or however you would like to use it. Of course, he does take donations if you would like, but no pressure at all, and it's completely free for you. All right. If because you're now part of our community, You should start getting email updates on Monday mornings with the events that are coming up in content, but also on this homepage. This is our homepage of our website. You can see the 3 buckets we have underneath the event registration tab. That CC webinars section, that is where this event will be posted. And usually we have it up by the next day. So if you want to go back and rewind and see any of this information, that's where it will be posted. We again also will have the event recap written out for you. Volunteers, you guys are amazing. You can't imagine the amount of work it takes to pull these events off, bring in all the speakers, get the volunteers, the professional coaches. So kudos to all of our awesome volunteers. Thank you so much for serving and being part of our program. And if you would like to volunteer, here is the URL for you to check out in the volunteering. And of course, as a nonprofit, any kind of donations, we go directly to the people we serve. So if you're interested in doing that, then it's right there. I'm gonna throw this on over to Sheila, and I just wanna say to you guys, thank you for being here today. We are praying for your landing into the career of your dreams. Thank you.
Awesome, Jessica, thank you. I'm going to stop the recording because I forgot to do that there. I always like to get your ending line there to let people know